This one's kind of an accidental Kickstarter review because I had no idea this thing started its life as a crowdfunded project. But today we're looking at the GoCube, which is a smart kind of Rubik's Cube. I know Rubiks is the brand, but it has Bluetooth built in and all kinds of gyroscopes and stuff. So it pairs with an app either on your phone or tablet. Now, before I go any further talking about cubing, I will point out now that I am somewhat of a novice. It's just something a bunch of us at work picked up just before Christmas. So that's how long I've been playing with Rubik's Cubes for, or quote unquote cubing. But I can solve one, but it ain't pretty and it ain't quick. But as the title suggests, for what is essentially a Rubik's Cube, it's pretty expensive. So what exactly do you get? So in the box you get the cube itself, a cool plastic stand to put it in when you're not using it, a fancy smancy velvet case because we've got to keep things classy up in here, and a charging cable because yes, it is electronic, so you do need to charge it, but it does have a battery life of around 30 hours, which is pretty impressive. So the question is, why exactly would you need a cube that connects to your phone? Well, it depends on who you are and your level of skill. If, for example, you're a veteran, this is probably one of the easiest ways to time yourself and receive some pretty detailed analytics about your average time to solve, average moves per solve, and average TPS or turns per second. And then once you've checked out your analytics, you can jump into the leaderboard and see other people's recorded high scores and feel bad about yourself. I mean, 6.6 seconds, Blake 98x, come on. Come on. But over that, if you're just learning to solve a Rubik's Cube, I think using the app is one of the most interactive ways to learn. The problem with watching a video or reading a how-to on how to solve a Rubik's Cube is the one you're watching is never going to be in the same combination as the one you're holding. Reasons for that is there are over 43 quintillion combinations. That was quintillion. That's a 4 and a 3 followed by 18 numbers, which is 5.5 times more grains of sand than there are on planet Earth. Don't let that put you off. It's fun, I swear. So if you're just starting out within the app, there's a section called the Academy, which will take you through cube notations and algorithms and teach you how to solve for one row at a time until you can do it on your own. But if you get frustrated with that, there's even a section of the app called Solver, which will look at the current layout of your cube and give you move by move instructions until you've completed it and you can look clever. But let's move on to the more competitive bunch amongst you. I mean, not more competitive than me. I'm most competitive. I win. The app has a matches section which allows you to go online and challenge other people with a GoCube to a speed race. And just to make it fair, those matches are actually separated out by beginner, medium and expert, and you're actually locked out of those higher matches until you've got a fast enough solve on record, which I do not. But I'll tell you what, I'm tearing up that beginner section. Yeah. But outside of the solo solving and the online competitions, there are some other more gimmicky sections of the app. For example, Cube Sizer turns the cube movements into piano notes or guitar notes or even just weird farm animal sounds, which I'll be honest, it's kind of a clusterfuck of noises. There's Simon, which is basically Simon Says will give you a string of notations which get longer and longer, so you have to memorize them. There's Cube Hero, which is a take on Guitar Hero, but you spin the cube. As I said, they are just smaller mini games, but they definitely help with the replayability of the cube. Since you spent £100 on it, you may as well get as much out of it as possible. But outside of the app, the cube itself is actually a very high quality speed cube. It has those typical speed cube rounded edges, which gives you a little bit of give if your turn isn't perfectly aligned. Also uses magnets to help complete the rotation, so a quick movement has more of a chance at landing completely aligned. The cube itself is actually the same size as a regular Rubik's Cube, but the rounded edges make it seem a bit smaller. But personally, I think the rounded edges make it easier to move it around in your hand so you can figure out what to do next. Moving on to some of the negatives of the cube, but to be honest, there really aren't many. First one is just the material that it's made of is very prone to scratches and smudges and things like that. So just be prepared for it to not look in pristine condition for very long. I've also had some instances where I had difficulty pairing it to the app, even to the point where I had to clear the cache of the app, force stop it, restart my phone just so it could find the cube again. It's not something that happens very often, more often than not. Finds a cube nice and quickly, pairs, and you're on your way. And lastly, on the app, there are a couple of features which state they're coming soon. Now, the cube itself was launched for general sale in August of 2019, so I'm not sure what their priority now is for continued support for the app and delivering new features, But those features which are listed as coming soon are things like daily challenges, something called Fortune Cube, and another mini game called Shooter. So they're not exactly fundamentals which will stop you from going ahead and picking one of these up, which if you wanted to do so, there is a link for it in the description down below. But that is the GoCube, so if you do pick one up, prepare to enjoy procrastinating for the rest of your life. But if you enjoyed the video, found it somewhat helpful, a like rating would be appreciated. If you have not already, remember to subscribe to the channel, and as always, I shall see you in the next one.